Hey there, Boots Owen here. This is a little watermill pump that I have fitted to pressurize the water in a house. It works just fine and it's been in for a few years now. This is a backup one that I got. I bought one for 20 quid and then I think I bought this one for 50 quid. It tends to hunt or continually repressurize just on cue. It tends to continually repressurize itself. So just before I started the video, so about every 30 seconds, maybe every minute, it keeps repressurizing. I have a spare one that was the original. It was seized. I've made a bit of a video about unseizing it and I'm going to refit it and hopefully it works, having been left up for as long as this one's been installed, which is about 5 years. But it did work before, so it should work again, and I don't remember it having this problem where it continually tried to repressurize itself. So that's twice in a minute now it's done that. And that, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of okay for the pump to cycle continuously, I think, in this case. But it's annoying if you're in a house that's not very big and you're listening to this thing every minute, doing effectively nothing, keeping the pressure ready. It's unnecessary. It sounds like it's going to go again there. It's unnecessary and it wastes electricity. So it should just do it on demand. It doesn't. So we'll yeah, it's about once every 30 seconds. It's unnecessary, and we'll check the other one. So it's probably just a sensor in this that is detecting pressure, or it could be that the pressure in the vessels are wrong. I don't know if I want to even try that. So I just need to unclip it, which is going to be fun because it's in a little cupboard and there isn't much space, but we'll get some gloves on and give it a go. Right, you're looking in from the side now and hopefully you can hear what's going on. I need to get up and turn off the water, and then I need to unclip these pipes. So the water is off and I've drained it as best I can at the taps. See a bit of moisture around that seal there, which I haven't seen before. But there's moisture here, so we'll see how it fits now in a second. The inlets to the pump are on the outside here and the outlets are on the pressure side here. It should just be a matter of depressing these little grey tabs and pulling these out, but it's not typically so simple. They need to rotate a bit. There we go. And this is the hot side, although I don't think there's any hot water in at the moment. Ah, come on. It's quite a tight fit. There we go. Most of the water on the floor. I should have done this. It's up on a couple of tiles. If I take them out, it's remarkably heavy. If I take the tiles out, it gives me a bit more space to work with. So let's continue on the hot side. That makes it a little bit easier. Let's try it here on the cold side. They're coming out easy enough because I had this pump out to add a washing machine line. It keeps gurgling up. Let's try and get the last one out. So that's it disconnected. It does make a bit of a mess. Let's disconnect the wiring then. So I've switched it off, but the wire's still live, so I just want to deal with the downstream side, as it were. I should have done this before really, but I didn't. So because it's in a bathroom, I fitted on a fuse spur. It's not my usual way, but it's just how I've done it here. It's a model ANHBP65D, and it's I think it's a two bar pump. It's a negative head pump with a cold and a hot inlet. It was dripping from this side when I plumbed it in, so I should go back a bit. I bought this years ago for 20 quid to put pressure into a house. And then I bought another one as a backup for this one. And when I got the other one, I wanted to test it. So I put the backup one installed for maybe the last 6 years. And this one has sat on a shelf in the hot press beside the other one. So this one worked and then was abandoned on a shelf as spares for more than 5 years. I swapped it back yesterday or the day before and it was dripping from this side. So I've opened up that impeller. And it also, when I turned it on, it went like an induction motor sound that won't start. Could be two things, capacitor or seized motor. I think it's seized motor. Mostly because when I put my hand on that blade, it doesn't turn. So, why would that be? I don't know. The dripping could be from this pressure vessel here. I was able to unscrew it. It was only finger tight. I'm not sure why, but that's the way it was. So we get into this side. There's 4 screws. So I think this is similar to what is now Grundfos Watermill STP, SSP, STN and SSN. So 4 screws there. We got 4 out already. And you just need a big screwdriver or something to break this off. That's it. Might be water in there or not. There is an O-ring in there, so just be careful with that. And just twist that out. You can have a look, but so it looks like there was some milky water down in the bottom. I would have tipped this out to drain it. Also looks like that's twisted a bit, so I can't get a purchase on that at all. So these blades should pop out, and they're on a woodruff key, I think. But also they're brass and old, so you could bend them without the pullers. So I don't know, is it better to just try and grip both sides with the hand in a towel and twist it? The clearance looks to be very, very tight on them. Or is it better to try and pull them off? Oh, what was that noise? I don't even know what just clicked there. I don't like that. Of course, I don't have a gear pullers with me and I don't want to bend them. So I'll put this towel across each side and try give them a twist. Because this is just a motor with a shaft coming out each end, with a brass housing here, O-ring seal, and impeller blade, if you want to call it a blade. Rotor, maybe, is a better word. And I don't think the bearings on the machine would seize. They could, of course, but I don't think they would. Yeah, that's it. Something happened there. Felt a click. Oh, look, this has popped off. So, but that's it spinning freely now. So I wonder, has it gone too tight on this side somehow? That's bizarre. So this guy's loose now. It's weird, it doesn't feel like there's a water seal here. So I don't know what the seal is. Does it just seal off? Does it just seal off the brass in the center, which doesn't really make sense? So if this side is the one that seems to be causing trouble, like that's spinning freely now. And if I energize it, I don't know, it wouldn't have any pressure or anything, so the controller that drives it won't tell it anything. See, it should be possible to just pull it off. It should slide off. There's this gap there for a woodruff key, and then that's just corrosion there. Why it would have seized, I don't know. But if I could take it apart, I could just clean it all up with wire wool and put it back together, and I think it'll be fine. There is some corrosion in there, roughness, but again, like wire wool, kitchen wire wool would take that off because the corrosion isn't on the water O-ring seal. It's getting this off without buckling this fellow. And so a replacement kit is 66 quid including VAT, which is a lot cheaper than buying the pump. Just trying to clean it against itself, if that makes any sense. Oh, it's got this ridge here, which I presume aligns with the plate on the inside, so this is the top in that case. You'll notice when I'm repairing stuff, I make a lot of presumptions. Like if this would run for a few hours or a few days in service, then probably would just be okay. There we go, let's twist it back on. It's actually cut the aluminium there to do that. It's very tight. Look, it's breaking off some kind of scale or something there. I posted a video a long time ago. It's very sharp. I posted a video a long time ago of fitting one of these. Let's just put the cover side back on and see if it twists easier. It's the O-ring. I've given that a clean. Just fits in there. So if I put this side back on, then I can twist it from the other side. I need to be cautious doing these up because it could break the brass off it. And if I paid 20 quid for this, I think I'm ahead in the scrap value of brass and motors, but it doesn't really solve my problem. So that might pull the brass housing closer to the other side, closer inwards, if that makes, if what I'm saying makes any sense. Let's put that down there. Let's hold this so that the wire doesn't get hurt. Just pop it off, in fact. Pop that wire off. This cable here is just in the way. That actually spins nicely now, you know. I think just running this would clean it up. That's what I believe. If that's turning freely like that, you see you can't turn it once it's all together. So if that's turning freely like that, let's put it back together. Reinstall it, I guess. So I didn't take out the O-ring on this one. I think this might be just back in action. So it was seized, and now it's not. That's kind of where we are. So this pressure vessel here was loose. I have potentially all the spare parts because I have 2 of these units, but I don't know what pressure this is set at. Now I could check that with the bicycle pump because it's got a shredder valve. But let's just put this back in and give it a good tightening by hand. It has like a fiber washer in there. I have a feeling this will just work now if I put it back together, so I might give that a try. I noticed previously when I was dealing with this that the pressure vessels were loose, which is not right, but so it should just be a matter of reinserting these pipes and away we go. We'll go right the ways down. That's the hardest bit. So a bit of twisting. There we go. A bit of twisting is in order. That's in. So you kind of got to get a grip on it and twist it or push. That's it. Now, where's my wire? Okay, so that's it all fitted in terms of plumbing, and we won't really see any leaks just yet. Let's get the water back on and get the electricals done. Turn the water back on, and I've bled the taps back. The cold will flow, but the hot doesn't want to. So neutral goes in here, live in here, and then earth. Okay, fuse is in. Let's, I've got the taps open, so let's turn it on and see what happens. So it's bleeding through the cold now. It's a bit confused. But that's pressure, alright. Hot side's fine. Cold isn't quite certain yet. Let's open up the bath as well. Seems to be doing okay. It's hot on the bath. You know, that cold seems to be doing okay. If anything, that's better than the other pump. The sink's taking a long time to go down. So here's the first pump, if you want to call it that. This was the one that was originally installed. That was seized. It's now not seized, which is great. And if I wait 30 seconds or more, I'm hoping it won't cycle on and off and annoy me, because that's really all that was happening. It's just annoying. I made a video about this installation before as kind of a retrospective. So the pump is just fitted underneath the hot tank and the hot press. These were the original hot feeds to the house, and it was just a straight pipe coming through, cold feeds to the house, and all I did was break them. This is Irish size pipe, which is 3/4 inch, and these are English sizes, as the pump is, which is 22 mil. And in Ireland you can buy a connector, a push fit connector that goes from Irish to English or imperial to metric, and that made my life a lot easier. So I just bent up a bit of 22 mil copper. You know, if you're not in Ireland and you're not using an English pump, this isn't relevant, but it's still a possible way of doing it. Even if you're going 22 mil to 22 mil, just break the pipe, cut out that section, fit a push fit, and then put a bend in to come down to the pump. It looks like it's not making noise. I'll turn the tap on. It's been over a minute now, maybe 2. And I don't see any leaks. There was a leak over here when I installed this and it didn't work. I didn't make any footage of that, but when I installed it a couple of days ago, switch it on and it would go like an induction motor that won't start. And I was a bit nervous and I thought either the capacitor or the motor seized. Turns out the impeller was seized, so that's all it was. It looks like this is a success, which is the best kind of thing when you're doing a job. I don't see any leaks about the push fits. Nothing to worry about. I'll know once the concrete in the bottom dries off, I'll be able to see leaks pretty quickly as well over time. So that's 2 minutes in and it's run there now. So I'll monitor this and see what happens. So over in the bathtub now, and I look at the filters on the pump that was installed, and they're pretty good. That's the cold side, it's pretty clean. I'm not expecting anything, but it's just to check. Oh, there's a bit of something in the bottom of that one. I don't know what that is, it's out of the hot tank. I'll have to give that a clean. I've been monitoring this now for a few minutes, and it seems that every 3 or 5 minutes it's coming on, which is a lot better than 30 seconds. The real issue I have here is that the pipework in this house is all at least 20 years old, and it's buried in salty concrete. And you can see that green over there at the tip of my finger. All the copper piping that goes down has verdigris on the outside, which is like rust on copper. And that can only go on so long before it starts to get a pinhole leak somewhere under your concrete floor that you can't find because it's tiled. And it just wouldn't matter if you didn't have the pressure system. Well, it would, because it's still going to leak, but the pressure system kind of pushes it. So if this pump keeps cycling, if the new pump keeps cycling back down to 30 seconds, it's more likely that there's a leak under the floor. If indeed, like I've been talking for a minute now and it hasn't cycled, if it stays silent, for want of a better word, then probably not a problem. And that's better, really. That's the position I want to be in. It seems that this pump is, while it was seized, it seems to be working just fine now, and it'll get a good run in over the next couple of weeks. But it looks like there's a fault on the other pump to do with the pressure drop. So I'll have a look at the manual, because there is a manual with it. It does seem to be starting every 3 minutes or 5 minutes, something like that. The pump pulses. Use of other taps in the house may cause the pump to start momentarily. That's not an issue here. Leaks in the system, that's what I was saying. Verdigris on the pipes, check the system for leaks. So I could do a leak pressure test, but if there is a leak, I don't really want to find it. That's the short answer. It's not causing any harm at the moment. And it's not big enough that the pump is running continuously. You know, it's got to be a very small leak if it is. Faulty non-return valve, check the non-return valves and replace if necessary. So somewhere in this pump, there may be non-return valves. I'm guessing they're in the bodies here because there's nowhere else for them to be. So let's have a look at the one in the bath. So the pump has just cycled in the hot press there, and we might hear it again in this next clip. So water comes in here on this side, goes down to the impeller down here and out up here. The filter is in this portion, so I can't see that there's a non-return valve here. I presume it's on this side after the pump, which makes more sense. But there's a flow sensor here. I don't know, does that just sense when the non-return valve is open and shut? It just pops on with a little, almost like, well, it's a rubber strap, rubber belt. And then here there's a push fit to hold this section in, which has the attachment for the pressure sensor and the pressure vessel. So it can be push fit. If you put a couple of screwdrivers in there, this just slides out the same as those flexi hoses. This bit here is bonded in. Now it has flats here. So I wonder, could I take it outside, pop this off and unscrew it and have a look in here? But even if it does, this looks to be a unit. I can't see that it's dismantleable unless I get into it. It seems to be rust there, so I wonder, is there a manganese washer or something there? A fibre washer with a steel edge, that's what I'm trying to say there. I wonder if there's something like that there that squidges down on it. So I'm wondering if there's something in here. I'd like to get an exploded diagram, but really you just need to get into it with the big flat spanners. I'll try and do it here while I'm here. So the clock's at 2 minutes 20, which means it's been about 2 minutes 30. It's been about 2.5 to 3 minutes since that pump cycled, and it's just cycled again there now. If it was up a little bit, I could get a flat spanner or something around it. You can't even get your fingers in on it. There we are, maybe. There we go. So looking down in there, there's a kind of a zigzag thing. Is there a non-return valve in there? saw somewhere that it's bonded in. Now, if that just means it's got some kind of a sealant or something in there, I don't know. I think there's just a little thing that flicks up that somehow demonstrates the flow to this little, what I presume is like a hall sensor or something. A little bit of something ferrous in there. Oh, there we go. Got it. It's quite well on. It's not bonded though. Whoa, I lost something there. A rubber. Yeah, that is actually a rubber valve of some description. So what have we got in here? Some kind of a slug that's going up and down in there. And that must be sensed through the brass by the sensor, but this is a little valve. Little rubber flap. But it doesn't seem to go one way or the other, so what's going on there? Let's flick this back down. Yeah, that's just the outlet. So that's the outlet there. You've got this little rubber guy that sits in here. Now, it doesn't seem to have a right way around. Just trying to look at the corrosion on it, trying to figure out which way is up. I think there's more corrosion on this side of the rubber, so it should be the downside. And you can see the brass impeller blades in there, that kind of cogged edge there. Let's put that in there. There's no O-ring or any bonding on it. It is just this compression washer with an O-ring or something on the inside of it. And that little slug there. So it's not broken, but whether it's worn out, I don't know. Let's put that back in. Let's put it back together for now. I haven't really taken it apart, so I haven't really done anything to it. There's that little torpedo in there that rises up as far as that S-bend, I presume, when the water flows. This guy goes on here. And this just push fits back in there. So what's to say? A bit of investigation. It's interesting, but apart from that, you can hear that new pump cycling. I'd say it's on about 3 minutes. A bit of investigation, but it could be that valve, it could be that the house is leaking. But the fact that it's leaking at a different rate is a bit weird. Those are rubber parts. These pumps are easily 20 years old. I don't know how old they are, but easily 20 years old. Probably a clue there. W199 10099-028-1036. Could be a clue in that. I don't know. Right, tell me about it in the questions and comments, please. I'm hoping there's not a leak in the house, but you know, if there is, we'll have to deal with that. And that'll probably be in a different video. Questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you later.